Hey guys, my name is Rob, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the EasySMX X20. This is a wireless controller compatible with PC, Switch, and mobile, both Android and iOS. EasySMX is a Chinese company that has produced several controllers for PC and Switch, as well as gaming headsets, but this is actually the first one of their products that I've tested. To be clear, this controller was not sent to me by EasySMX. I paid full price for the controller because I wanted to try it out. However, after ordering the controller, EasySMX did contact me, and since I had already purchased the controller for myself, they offered to provide a discount code for my audience for Amazon US and advised me it would stack with any Amazon sales that were currently going on. As you can see in this screenshot, that is accurate. So as of the time of this recording, Amazon has a 30% discount code on the X20, and you can use this promo code for an additional 20% off, which means you can pick it up for literally half price at $29.99 plus tax. We're going to go through a full review of this controller, but before we even do that, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it a little bit and tell you that this is an insanely good deal. I decided to take a chance on the X20 based on the apparent bang for buck ratio, as it advertises a ton of pro features, so we're going to open it up, test it out, and see how it stacks up to the competition. So nothing too fancy with the packaging here. We've just got plastic covering the contents of the box. We've got a wireless dongle here, which does have a pairing button. The controller looks pretty nice. We'll get a closer look in a moment, but let's see what else is included in the box first. We have a USB-A to USB-C cable, and I believe this is a 6-foot cable. It's not braided, just a standard cable. And we have the instruction manual. I do like that this is a booklet style manual instead of one of those annoying fold-out ones. I said earlier that the X20 boasts quite a few Pro Controller features, so we're going to go over those first. The X20 does have Hall effect sticks, which at this point is kind of expected with any modern controller. We'll test these out in Gamepad Tester later in the video to see how EasySMX's modules perform. In addition to being Hall effect, the X20 sticks also have removable caps, and you're probably wondering why, since the controller didn't come with any additional thumbstick caps. But the reason for the removable design is actually because these sticks have built-in adjustable height. They're magnetic and will snap on in two different orientations. As you can see here, it doesn't add a ton of height, and for me, I'll probably still use a Control Freak on the right stick, but it is a noticeable difference. I do like the idea of this design, and I imagine since these are removable and replaceable, we could potentially see some aftermarket caps as well. This reminds me a bit of the telescopic adjustable sticks on the PowerA Ops V3 we reviewed recently, though I will say that since these come completely off to adjust, I'm not concerned I'm going to pull too hard and break something, so I like that. The ABXY buttons are mechanical, which is great, as is the D-pad. Unfortunately, this is a 4-way D-pad, so not going to be the best option for fighting games and roll-offs in general. The ABXY buttons are backlit, which is why they're almost invisible when the controller is off, but when we turn it on, there we go. I'm not a huge fan of this design with the backlit glowing buttons. It's actually very similar to the face buttons on the GameStar Tarantula Pro that we just reviewed, and I didn't love that aspect of that controller either. Also on the front we have the menu or start button, the view or back button, the command button, which we'll go over in detail, the turbo button, and the home button. The shoulder buttons are mechanical and feel good, and the triggers are Hall effect. Additionally though, the X20 does have 2-way trigger stops, so off you have the full pull Hall effect triggers, and then when engaged, these are mechanical mouse click triggers. I absolutely love to see that, and in my opinion all Pro controllers should have this feature. And then we also have 4 programmable rear buttons. The X20 has what has become a pretty common rear button layout with the 2 inside and 2 outside buttons. Most notably, you see these on FlyDigi controllers such as the Apex 4 and Vader 4 Pro. I honestly don't love this design. I prefer having upper and lower rear buttons. In fact, so much so that for my Vader 4, I ordered this custom 3D printed mod kit on Etsy. The Etsy seller, AquaLuxCrafts, custom designed these paddles and also sells paddles for the Apex 4, the Vader 3, and the Ghoulie Kit KK3 Pro and Max, as well as some other cool stuff. Although there currently isn't anything like this for the X20, I've been communicating with Gary from AquaLuxCrafts since ordering these paddles, who's a really good guy, and when I mentioned I might show these off in a video, he provided this discount code for my viewers. So if you're interested in custom paddles for the Vader 4 or Apex 4, you can use this code for 20% off from now through the end of October. I'll leave this code in the video description below, as well as a link to his Etsy shop and his installation video for the Vader 4 custom paddles. Lastly, on the back, we have a switch to change between PC mode for both wired and wireless dongle connections, Bluetooth mode for mobile gaming, and Nintendo Switch mode. I said we go over the command button in detail, and we'll go ahead and do that now. You can use this button to program pretty much every aspect of the X20, and we're going to start with the lighting. If you hold the C button and press the left joystick, as in click L3, it changes the brightness of the RGB lights. There are 4 settings, so it just cycles through low, medium, high, and off. If you hold the C button and click the right joystick, or R3, it cycles through the color options. There are several to choose from, and it just rotates through them until you get back to the rainbow setting. I want to show you guys all the options, but I am going to speed it up a bit. And then finally, if you hold down the C button and double click L3, it changes the lighting mode from solid to breathing, or vice versa. For the rumble motors, you can hold the C button and tap up on the right joystick to change the intensity, or tap down to lower the intensity. The manual states there are 5 steps: 0%, 30%, 50%, 70%, and 100%. You can program the rear buttons by holding the C button and whichever of the rear buttons you're programming for 5 seconds. You then press the button you want to program, such as the A button, and then you press the C button plus the programmable button you're programming again. Unfortunately, you do have to do this individually for each button. You can't just enter programming mode and do all of them at once. I don't currently use gyro for any gaming, so I didn't actually test this, but you can hold the C button plus the back or view button and click L3 or R3 to set that joystick as a gyro function. If you hold the C plus menu or start button for 5 seconds, the controller will enter calibration mode. You can then rotate each joystick slowly 3 full rotations and fully depress each trigger 3 times, and then press the view or back button to save and exit. If you're in PC or Bluetooth mode, you can hold the menu and view button for 5 seconds to switch between X input and D input mode. The first 2 indicator lights on the bottom of the controller will be illuminated in X input mode, and the second and third will be illuminated for D input. You can also hold the C button by itself for 5 seconds to reset all settings. I think that covers everything, so we're going to jump over to Gamepad LA now and test the polling rate. EasySMX states that the X20 is 1000 Hz in both wired and wireless mode, and as always we're going to start with wired mode. I went ahead and started with 6000 inputs since we're expecting 1000 Hz. And it is 1000 Hz. The average is a little under at 980, but that's a pretty solid consistency and low jitter. We'll go ahead and run it one more time exactly the same way, just to make sure it's consistent. $968 that time, so a little bit lower, but the same jitter. Could just be human error in my rotation. Now we're on wired connection using the USB dongle. Again, I'm going to do 6000 inputs as we're expecting the same polling rate as wired. So we've got 937, a little bit slower than the wired connection, but not bad. Let's run it again. We'll do 6000 again and just see if we can get a little bit better. And yeah, that's a little bit better at 955. Overall, not bad for a wireless connection either way. It's definitely at 1000 Hz. I don't always test Bluetooth, and honestly that's because it just doesn't occur to me sometimes. I never use Bluetooth for gaming, but we'll run it for the X20 really quick. Okay, I shouldn't have said really quick. That's my bad, guys. That's on me. I should just stop halfway because this is clearly running at 125 Hz or lower, so just don't use it is the answer. So yeah, average polling rate of 110 Hz, average latency of 9 milliseconds, and comically high jitter. Bluetooth sucks. Gamepad tester results look good. We have a consistent resting value for both joysticks, but keep in mind we do not have an option to adjust dead zones on the X20, so likely there are built-in dead zones on these sticks that we just can't remove. That said, they feel responsive. Whatever the factory dead zones are, they're not massive. Circularity tests look good with an average error of 0.1% for both sticks. Another disclaimer that I've stated before, when you see results like this, it does indicate that the sticks are set to a circular algorithm, so ideally they should be very close to 0, just like this. Okay, a quick wrap up here. I can't say that there's anything groundbreaking about the X20, but it's a solid controller, especially at the price point. I've gotten probably 3 to 4 hours of gameplay in so far, and overall it performs pretty well. I want to point this out, I actually love the ABXY buttons, but they have very light resistance, which I like but others might not. My main complaint is the rear button layout, which I know is partially a preference thing, but even then I do like these better than FlyDigi's design. The outer buttons are larger but also more flush with the rear shell, and both the inner and outer buttons have pretty aggressive stippling, which I like. I can't say that about the grips, which have very little texture, so they just don't provide the best, well, grip. But for a wireless controller with 1000 Hz polling rate, both wired and wireless, mechanical face buttons, adjustable thumbsticks, mechanical mouse click triggers, and customizable RGB if you're into that sort of thing, even at the MSRP of $60, this controller wouldn't be a bad deal by any means. Of course, at that price, you might talk yourself into an extra $20 for a Vader 4 Pro if you can even find one right now, but with the current Amazon sale, it would be pretty hard to find a controller with all of those features for $42, and if you stack the discount code EasySMX provided for us, you're talking about a whole lot of controller for $30. So yeah, if you're in the market for a new gamepad but you're on a tight budget, the X20 really wouldn't be a bad choice. I hope this video helped you out, and if so, please subscribe if you haven't already. Likes are also appreciated, and I do try to react and respond to all comments. I'll be doing more reviews regularly, so I hope to see you back here again soon. Thanks for watching.